I consider myself a good person that has a heart of gold, sometimes too big. My name is Brenda Lynn Peters. I'm from Moorhead, Iowa. I was raised on a farm, lived there for 13 years. So that's affected a lot of my life because, I had such a pain inside of me that I needed something to help me because I really didn't want to live. And to be 10 years old and not really care if you're alive is pretty tough. So I started cutting, and I didn't know, they didn't have a word for it back then. I didn't know why I was doing it, because when I would do it, I really didn't want to die. I mean, I did because I didn't like how everything was. I didn't like that there was no love and affection. But I just wanted to feel some other pain that I didn't have to feel inside. And I didn't know that. It took me years to figure out why I was doing that. I had really bad scars on my arms, and you can still see them a little, but I covered them up with my kids' representations, butterflies for all three of my children. So I did that, and then I started using drugs, and when I started using drugs, I stopped cutting. I was using pretty regular, using meth, and I was using needle. And it just, normally when addicts do drugs, they stop for a while because they run out of the good stuff or whatever. People will be selling them stuff that's not real, and it's just not worth it. But this person we were getting it from, it was always really good. So, I mean, there was a 6-8 months time where I was using it probably every day. I had hit my end. I didn't want to use anymore, I was never proud of it, It just made me function properly. At first, it's all good when people start using and that's what gets them, because everything seems so great. You feel great, and it's just a huge trap.
My name is Mary Timko, and my role in Family Treatment Court is the judge, or the presider of all of the staffings and the court proceedings. How Family Treatment Court came to be was I was at a conference. Judges go to these various conferences, and I went to this one conference for, it was called Drug Endangered Children. And at that conference, they were talking about different treatment courts. And the main focus of that particular one was juvenile treatment court. But there was one breakout session where they had family treatment court. So I went to that, and I thought, I'm going to do that because the statistics were so great and the stories were so wonderful. I came back to Storm Lake. I talked to some people. I also do court in Cherokee, Storm Lake, Ida County, and Woodbury. But BV and Cherokee were the ones that were the most interested. So BV ended up going on a grant, so they did their own thing. But my BV court, we did ourselves. I called up people that I thought would be part of it, and it was people from Compass Point, which is substance abuse, the Department of Human Services, in-home workers, probation officers. I brought them all together, and I said, we're going to do this court. And the first thing, of course, is, well, how are we going to pay for it? And I said, I don't care, we're just going to do it. And then we had to get the Department of Human Services on board. And luckily, the probation officer that I brought his title was like meth specialist, so he was all for it. So we just started doing it. And I just kept doing it. And we started with 8 people. Then we've gotten up to 12. We've gotten down to 4 different clients. So it's kind of fluctuates, but I just did it.
The system, when I got into it, I absolutely hated it. I was scared to death of those people. I was scared to death they were going to take my kids away. I knew that I wouldn't be able to handle it with them gone. They're my life. I might have just went so deep into it that I wouldn't even be here today if I lost my kids. I told the kids about it. I told the kids, Mom's got a problem. I'm using meth. And I've raised the kids that is bad. Don't even hang out with people that do that. If your friend's doing it, walk away. Just, that's terrible. That's probably the worst thing you could ever do besides kill somebody or what, harm somebody personally.
Just, I mean, while she was using and everybody was having their own problems, it was just come and go as you please, do whatever you want.
We were like roommates
It was,
instead of a
it
family.
was more like just a bunch of random people living together. They didn't really get along. But I mean, now we actually pull ourselves together, and we're actually more of a family than we were before.
Feels like home
Yeah.
instead of just like temporarily being there.
Yeah, it feels more like home instead of a place just to sleep.
I love being honest with the kids. I believe that if they want to know something, then I'm going to tell them, and I'm going to tell them the truth. I owe that to them. So I promised Frank and my daughter Savannah that if I used again, if I relapsed, that I would go into inpatient. But let's just try outpatient, and that was 3 days a week, 3 or 3.5 hours a day, I can't remember which. And I did that for 8 months. And it was good. But I go to NA meetings. They're great because they're free. Everybody that's in that room has been through something of their own. So they understand, they're willing to help, and there's nothing in it for them. So my support system, they'll always be there. If I quit going for 6 months or a year and I go back, they'll still be there. So that's a great thing. But when I wasn't working, like my 12 steps that they give you and treatment and NA and stuff, the little demon or whatever it is, on my shoulder would be whispering, and I couldn't ignore it as much as I can now, because an addict is always going to have that little thing telling me to do something, do some kind of drug, have a bad day, and I hear it saying, just do it. That's the little evil me or whatever, the bad side. And then I don't have to give into it when I'm working my steps and I have a healthy life going on. It's great. I'm so happy with everyone and how everything is going. My family has changed for the better since I stopped using. So much. We eat together, we cook together, we work together, we talk, we laugh, we play, we talk about anything. The kids can tell me anything. Some things I wish I didn't hear, but I still do. That's okay though. We're tight. We're a tight family. Nothing could break that. Except for drugs. It did break it. But nothing's going to break it again.
It definitely gave me motivation to keep myself clean because at one point my mom had told me that the family treatment court had told her that I was a threat to her recovery. And for me to hear that, it made me feel bad enough to actually make a change in myself to give me that extra drive to actually sober up and be able to live a clean, sober life and, help my mom out and have her help me out. So
I'm helping out in family treatment court, and I feel really driven about it. I feel passion for those people. They only want to help, but the people that are in family treatment court have to give in. They have to surrender, and that's something that we learn in treatment, is you have to surrender that you have a problem, and they have to surrender and start telling the truth and doing the right thing all the time. And if they mess up, don't hesitate to say that they messed up, because it's okay. They're people, and Judge Timko and everybody at Family Treatment Court, they understand. They want to help. It's just, if the people don't want help, that's tough. They're going to get it anyway. They are. It's just, how do they want to leave family treatment court? Do they want to leave because they're getting kicked out? Because they just walk away and they don't graduate? They're not going to get their kids. They're not going to accomplish anything. They'll be back. in there, or do they want to have a graduation like what Judge Timko and Jessica and everybody gave to me and the people that graduated with me? It was amazing to feel that love from those people.
Brenda's story in family treatment court is really interesting. The first family treatment court that she came into, I think hate's a pretty strong word. She did not like me. She did not like me at all. She didn't like anything I had to say. This was not going to be where she wanted to be. In fact, she had told her at the time she had a parent partner, she wasn't coming back. And she had spent the whole week saying, I'm not going back. I am not going back. And she came the next time. And we got along a little better, and I said, I'm so glad that you came back because I heard you weren't coming. And so we got along a little bit better, and then I think she realized we are there to help her. We're not there to criticize what she's doing, and she has turned out to be like one of our stars, basically. We have this program called Parent Partners, where it's people who've been there, done that, and they sort of mentor other people that are in the family treatment court. And I can't wait for her to become a parent partner.
I want to get certified in some way so I can help more. I don't want to throw away what I feel God has given me, a purpose. And I don't want to just walk away from that, so I'm not going to. I don't wish the drug world on anybody, because it's a dead-end street. It will get you killed in prison. You lose your family, your life. Yeah, one way or another, you'll lose your life.